Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids, where, surprise, we weren't told about this, by the way. Content creators knew nothing, completely out of the blue. We have another summoning event, a second one, has come alongside the 10x. So of course we got our 10x for these stun champions. Did a video on that yesterday, talking about how I would rate them. Check it out if you haven't seen it, especially if you are lucky enough to pull one of these. You can see what I think of them. We have a guaranteed champion event happening as well for none other than Candraphon, guys, which is insane. 150 ancient shards, and you can get guaranteed a Candraphon. We're going for it today. There's no question for me. I'm going for it. We're dipping into the gems. We're dipping into the gem stash to get enough blue shards, but we're doing it. We are absolutely doing it. Why am I going for Candraphon? Why am I so hyped for this? Why do I think it's so good? Sorry, it's early in the morning. My throat's not quite clear. I just jumped straight on to make this because I'm hyped. But I've got my coffee and I've got a really big banana. It's green screened, but don't worry, it is there. That's going to power me through because I'm going to need to be freeing up space as we're pulling. Candraphon, Force Affinity, attack-based nuker. This makes him very, very special for Arena. So number one, his affinity is very helpful. Very helpful. What are the most popular types of nukers in Arena? Blue. Magic affinity nukers are the most popular. Look at Trunda, Foley, Gaius the Gleeful, Rotos, Lost Groom, Herndig. A couple of those actually were fusions and fragment collectors in the past. So they are by far the most popular, by far the most common. Candraphon is a positive affinity against them, which makes him very strong defensively against them and also very strong offensively against them. The downside of this red affinity, there's one downside really. The main downside is Duchess Lilitu, that he really struggles to kill Duchess, who can revive her team, and that ends up being a bad time. So he's bad offensively against Duchess, but yeah, it just means that he's super, super strong against a lot of the meta, against everything that's not green affinity. He's great. And there's not that many green affinity nukers that are common. Like Yannicka, Cleopteryx, Karato Foxhunter. Like there's not a ton. I actually built Magnar for me. I built Magnar specifically to counter him, really. It's the HP-based nuker with really hard-hitting damage and tanky enough to survive. I built Magnar specifically because of Candraphon on my account. Really. Right, let's look at his kit. The other part of this that makes him insane is his passive. It has a 3-turn cooldown, gives him a perfect veil for 1 turn whenever an enemy's turn meter is filled, and the buff cannot be removed. So he gets an unremovable perfect veil for 1 turn. That gives him 15% damage reduction, by the way, 15% less damage from perfect veil, always. On top of that, he's going to do 40% more damage. Well, if he attacks while he has Perfect Veil or Veil on, he will receive 40% less damage while under Veil or Perfect Veil on top of the existing damage reduction. Boost this champion's turn meter by 15% every time he receives damage under Veil or Perfect Veil. And this stuff doesn't work if he's the only one alive on the team. But this is just absolutely nuts. Like, you put his affinity together with these incredible defensive buffs. Like, if you're going up against a speed team and there are, like, whoever speed boosts and fills their turn meter, he's getting a perfect veil, the inherent damage reduction, the 40% damage reduction. You can't remove it. And then the affinity, like, he's a monster. And then he comes in and he absolutely smacks you, which is disgusting. His A1 is also disgusting. Attacks one enemy, places an extra hit if the target is under any buff. This hits so hard. Hits so hard. It's absolutely insane. And it combos extremely well with his A2, which is his AoE, 3-turn cooldown when booked, AoE attack, extra turn, resets the cooldown of On the Hunt if this attack kills an enemy. So typically what you're going to do, you actually turn off this On the Hunt, you'll turn this off. On the Hunt, you'll turn it off, and typically he'll come in, he will, bam, AoE nuke the enemy team, he'll kill them all, and then let's say Arbiter or Sifi survive, then he's going to come in and he's going to hit them. And obviously Arbiter and Sifi both apply buffs, so he'll hit them twice, really hard. And he's just insane. Then the A3 On the Hunt, 5-turn cooldown, perfect veil, increase attack, increase speed, increase crit damage in this champion for 2 turns. Now this sounds really good, but it's actually usually pretty bad. It's usually not worth having him do this. You would rather get these from another source. So in particular, he obviously combos very well with Duchess Lilitu, because Duchess gives him increased attack and perfect veil. When Duchess reses allies, she gives them veil as well, right? So she's insanely good. And then also, of course, Duchess's damage reduction passive, stacking with all of Candraphon's stuff, and it's nuts. It's just a really strong arena defense, and it's nasty. Right? It's nasty because, hey, if you bring in a red affinity nuker to try take down the Candraphon, you can't kill Duchess. If you bring in a blue affinity nuker to kill Duchess, you can't kill Candraphon. So it becomes very awkward to deal with the two of them together. You kind of need a green affinity or a void affinity nuker. You need some sneaky strategy to kind of get around it because it's such a nasty combo and they enable each other so well. You know, you put the two of them in together with something like Mithrala that you're going to guaranteed get, who's going to be cleansing, giving strength and shield, more increased attack, and you start to have a really bad time in arena. Let me tell you, you start to have a bad time. Anyway, let's start pulling some shards. Let's go. So I have 100 shards. Let's actually, first of all, into the shop, we're going to need to buy quite a bit, actually. So here you go. Get one. Man, we're going to rip through these gems. I've been saving for a long time. Is 4 enough? I'm not sure if 4 is enough. Here we go. Goodbye, gems. It was nice knowing you. Here was me thinking I'd saved up a crazy amount of gems, that I was doing super well. Oops, I bought a little bit more than I should have. I should have eaten that banana, huh? Should have downed that coffee, eaten that banana. Oh well. Oh well. All right, let's go for it. So I'm going to pull, like, what, 50? Then we'll make some space, pull 50, make some space, pull 50. Here we go. Oh, by the way, actually, before we pull, someone's tearing their hair out right now, I guarantee. The Summon Rush, guys. The Summon Rush is kind of nasty. So this is, and this is a kind of a Brucey bonus here for pulling with this. Here's my plan. Here we go. So for the Summon Rush for Helicath, to get the rare, it's actually more expensive than it usually is. This is basically 4 sacred shards worth of points to get the rare, plus pulling then a chunk of greens over the weekend. So that's expensive. Usually it's only 3 sacred shards. So you're going to have to pull maybe some void shards or some ancients to make up for it and to get to him if you're going for the rare, which presumably most people will still need that rare, which is crazy. To get to the epic, that's actually 10 sacred shards. So that's a heck of a lot. And usually these events max out at 15. They're actually maxing out at 16 sacreds worth this time around. So this event is very expensive this time. My advice is probably, yeah, I think the easiest way is, if you have the shards, of course, the best way to do it would probably be the 4 sacreds and then some greens to get Lamabur. Or you can do it the way I'm doing. If you're going for the guaranteed Candraphon, that's 150 ancient shards. That's going to be 3,000 points. I'm going to do 3,000 points. I'm going to pull 1 sacred to grab myself a legendary skill tome. And then I'm going to stop. I'm not going for anything else because it's such a big jump from here to here. And I don't really care about an extra Kinagashi, to be honest. I've beaten Shadowkin Faction War, so I don't need her. And then I think if you go as far as Kinagashi, it's really quite good to be able to go the whole way, right? It's really quite good to be able to go the whole way if you can, because the legendary skill tomes are worth a lot. But that's 16 sacred shards. That's as much as I have, and I've been saving like crazy. So, yeah, I don't know. That's pretty intense, to be honest. Right, let's pull. Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, so obviously this is pulling shards in a non-2 times event. We're gonna see a lot of blue. A lot of blue. Broodlord, pretty underwhelming, epic. I'm really not sure if this guy's any much use whatsoever. So we're going to ignore and move on. It's always possible that you might even hit upon another Lamabur while you're pulling for this. So if you are going to be pulling any blue or greens, you could pull those first before investing sacreds, just on the very off chance that you get a Lamabur. That could be pretty nice. Again, a lot of blue. We're going to see a lot of blue. We might get a legendary on the way. If we do, we're going to be really happy. If not, oh look, there we go. There's a Lamabur. There is a Lamabur. Now I'm hoping I get 3 more so I can fuse I can just fuse up the epic. Actually, no, I can't fuse up the epic, can I? Because I think it locks you out of fusing it once you fused one, right? So you can only fuse 4. So actually, this extra Lamabur, he's just food at this point for me. Pretty sure, actually. Yeah, pretty sure that's how it works. That's a bit disappointing, isn't it? Oh, well, there you go. C'est la vie. Maybe you can fuse up extra. Maybe you can. I don't know. We'll find out. Someone will let me know in the comments. I haven't fused any yet, so I've kind of forgotten. There's Husk, one of our 10 times champions. Really, really good. AoE attack, enemy max HP, provoke on the A1, absolutely rips through Hydra heads, and can lock down the Head of Decay. That's his main purpose in the game right now. And we've got one more set here. Cool, cool, cool. Come on, can we get another legendary on the way? If we don't, I'm going to be hoping for like an extra legendary event from Ancients in the near future, or I guess we could pull for like some sort of 10. I probably wouldn't even bother for a 10 times myself. I kind of skip them as much as possible. Drake, really bad single target damage, really bad champion, really old, needs a complete rework, really. He's just no good. So there we go. First 50. We're 1/3 of the way there. I'm going to go free up some space, and I will see you in a minute. All right, let's continue. Here we go. I actually spent 10 million silver getting 10 more slots in my inventory. It's one of the things about this that feels so bad is wasting all of these 3 stars, feeding them into champions to free up space. That really sucks. It's like, I want to use these as food. I want to use these as proper food instead of this waste, because I was not prepared for this guaranteed event. They come on fast, unfortunately. It's a downside. It is a downside. Anyway, let's pull 50 more. Here we go. Then we'll free up some more space and cry. We're going to save, obviously, the last 50, so I guess it's a few champions somewhat wasted. Here we go. Jotun. Oh, we got a legendary. Okay, it's still the Drakes. I have her, no surprise. Jotun, first of all, terrible. There we go. That was quick. Still of the Drakes, a duplicate. I don't think there's really any reason to build a second Still of the Drakes. I think one is play. Obviously, if you did pull her early in the game, you'd actually be delighted. She's an incredible champion. Really, for your first whole year of playing the game, she's just absolutely insane. With that decreased speed, decreased turn meter chance, the AoE with stun is so good for locking down waves. And then the revive, her passive doing lots of healing. She actually does pretty good damage. She's great. Now, I wouldn't build a duplicate of her. And I also wouldn't empower her. Like, I just don't really use her much anymore. So this is going to be a Faction Guardian thing. I'd definitely be using duplicate Sills for Faction Guardians. And then opening up other champions in the Barbarian Legendaries to be empowered instead. Like, if I ever get Valkyrie, that'd be great. So we got a Legendary. A little bit disappointing that it's not a new one, but we're going to get Candraphon today, who is a new one. So I can't really complain about that. And obviously all my Legendary books are going into Candraphon for the next little while. So, yeah. It is what it is. It is what it is. I'm certainly not going to say no to a Legendary outside of a 2x event. It does mean we're nowhere near Mercy Timer now for any event that comes up after, but that's okay. Here we go. Sandlash Survivor. Actually, great champion. I really like Sandlash. She's great. Her passive is amazing. Ally protection on all allies whenever an ally's HP drops below 50% and puts block damage on her for 1 turn. So for go second teams in Arena, she's actually super good. I actually use her. I actually use her all the time in a go second Arena team. Yeah, you put someone that's not squishy, but has maybe a lot of HP that will go below 50% in the first slot of your team. Because when an AoE hit comes out, when an AoE hit comes out, it's going to hit your champions in order. Like, it will go through them one by one. It doesn't hit all simultaneously. So she can actually trigger this passive on your first. The person in your aura spot, the lead spot, will trigger this, and the ally protection will protect everyone else on the team. It might even protect them for, like, if there's multiple hits and stuff, it might even protect them on the second hits. I'm not sure about that. But it can do stuff like that, which is great. Then she has an AoE attack, decrease enemy buffs, increase ally buffs. Then her A1 can lifesteal. It can also provoke. She's got defense on all auras battles. So she's fantastic. Great champion. Amazing for go second Arena teams. You can use her as a buff extender for stuff like Hydra, for Demon Lord Clan Boss as well. Super good for that. I've used her as well against the Magma Dragon because she's got a good chance to provoke on her A1 while also protecting the team and extending their buffs. So she does a bunch of stuff that's really, really good. You typically run her in the final position in your team just so her passive triggers well. And yeah, she's fantastic. I'm a big fan of her. All right, let's go some more. I'm getting greedy now. I'm like, what if we got another Legendary? What if we got another one? The chances are absolutely minuscule, but what if we did? What if we... There's another Lamabur. Okay. Okay, so we need 2 more? It's possible as well that I missed one. Getting excited about Syl right there, but... Come on, give me 2 more Lamaburs. Okay, this looks more like a 2 times pull event, doesn't it? With 2 epics in here, not bad. Nazana, I actually think she's a really good champion that doesn't get much attention. But AoE on her A1, then AoE on her A3 that puts decreased attack. Then she puts ally protection on the team and a big shield on herself. So I actually used her as my Spider 20 tank. She's the bad affinity for Spider 20, and because she has AoEs and a really big shield, she can keep herself alive with Lifesteal and War Master proccing off the AoEs. Decreased attack helps a bit keeping her alive. The shield helps keep her alive. Pretty interesting, pretty intriguing, pretty different. And then she's actually not bad for some like Doom Tower progression stuff and things like that, because she has these AoEs. She does no damage whatsoever. Her damage is, she's pretty much the worst damage champion in the game, but War Master does add up. You can put her in a stun set as well, have her crank out stuns. She's actually pretty cool. Marksman, I've never used. I think he's pretty bad. He's a poisoner. Yeah, he can poison on his A1. Yeah, he does some turn meter fill. I think he's like probably okay at the very, very, very start of the game as just someone to, you know, someone to come in and give you a little bit of poison against clan boss, but he's going to fall off really fast. Power up packs. Here we go. Hang on. Before we go anywhere, it's actually my first duplicate. That's cool. My first duplicate for Barbs. That's pretty good. Well, we'll get there. It's a start, right? It's a start. But yeah, the bonus HP is actually going to be nice for a lot of these champions. Actually really nice for a lot of these champions. And yeah, I definitely wouldn't empower Syl. I'd much rather empower basically everyone else. Kantra, oh man, I want Kantra so bad. Kantra and Valkyrie would be just absolute god tier for Hydra. Elder Skarg's great. Raf Matab could be good as well for, again, Hydra Doom Tower stuff. Needless to say, obviously all 4 of the Voids I think are really strong and worth empowering. Even Altan, though I don't really use them. So yeah, cool. Yeah, that will do. That will help, right? I'm going to clear up some space. Be right back. All right, and we are back for the last hurrah, guys. 50 more shards for that Candraphon. And we're going to pull 1 sacred at the end as well to get the legendary tome from Summon Rush. So here we go. Straight in with an epic. It's Juliana. She's terrible. All right, let's do it. Again, we're really hoping for that yellow gold or for any one of these to be Lamabers. We need 2 more to get the 2 extra. I don't know. Juliana, kind of terrible. Old champion. She's got really long cooldowns. Yeah, 5 turn cooldown on the HP burn. 5 turn cooldown on this as well. She's definitely due for a buff for sure. And it'd be fun to buff her and Romero, because Juliana and Romero, there's another Lamaber. Hot diggity dogs. I might get excited now. We might get these extra Lamabers, and then it's going to turn out, surprise, you can't fuse up the extra one. I really don't know. I'm intrigued. This is exciting. Okay, Crimson Hell. She can solo Bommel hard 90, but it's a pretty miserable experience. You can do it. It's intensive on gear, very intensive, very, very. But she can do it, and you have to manual it. Again, my take on it, I tried it, and it was such an unpleasant experience that I said I would rather not do Bommel and just fall behind everyone in the game than have to do this. That was my take. I mean, I've got a lot of people leave comments when I've said that before, saying they find it fine. So, you know, each to their own. But just a word of warning, I find it unpleasant. I find it unpleasant, so I didn't bother. I came up with other strategies, like my Mother Cybele Revive on Death strategy, which I was actually quite proud of. That was quite a fun one. Talia, old school as well. She looks really cool. Like, I think she looks badass. She looks like, you know, the main character of a JRPG or something. Triple hitter A1. Counterattack on herself, weaken bombs and stuff, potentially with an AoE attack. She's really good early game for Fire Knight, but that's about it. She falls off. Again, it'd be nice if they gave her a little bit of a buff, because she does look really cool. Yeah, it'd be cool if they added more ways to get her and all the rest. Come on, Lamaber. Come on, Lamaber. No, he's not there. No Lamaber there. Ripper, I forget what Ripper does. Max HP. Decreases damage, increases the target's HP decreases. Ignores some of their defense, decreases their max HP. Okay, Ripper basically doesn't do anything useful. Forget about him. Get out of here, Ripper. Okay, we should be coming up on Candraphon soon. I'm not seeing no goats. And there it is. There he is. Okay, there's the Candraphon. Man, I'm excited for this though. This is great. I'm so happy to have Candraphon. He's going straight into my arena defense. He's going straight in. I think I'm going to put him in alongside Gaius and be like, haha, there's a Gaius and a Candraphon. And it's just that nightmare of like, how do we deal with both of those? That sucks. So yeah, that's going to be kind of fun. There we go. Wha-bam. Let's double check our summon rush. We should be at the 3,000 points. Double check. There we are. Okay, let's pull one more shard to get it done. Here we go. Sacred shard. Boom. Lock it in. What do we got? An epic. Okay, I was really hoping it would be a legendary for the laughs. Yo, Necro Hunter got buffed recently. Has anyone actually used him? Have any of you guys used him? I know MTG Jedi did a video on him, but I was on holiday. I didn't get to watch it at the time, and I never came back around to watching it. But he now does an AoE attack if he crits on a 3-turn cooldown. He gives himself Perfect Veil if he crits. He can put decreased defense each hit. So he's got a good A1 for doing decreased defense. He looks like a decent, again, sort of early game. He could be a good early game nuker for your account. He could be really, really strong. A good upgrade over your starter champion, I think. Most likely. And he'd be really good for Night Revenant Faction Wars as well. Yeah, I think he'd be really good for Night Revenant Faction Wars. It's just your nuker. You're going up against Valkyries there and Martyrs and stuff in Wave 21. So Spirit Affinity, they're kind of a pain. But yeah, there we go, guys. That was my Summon Rush. Good luck with your pulls. Like I said, getting Seal of the Drakes out of that, I'm happy. I think we're one Llama Burst short. I think we're going to be one short, so I don't know what to do about I guess there's nothing to do. There really isn't anything to do, is there? It's just, I've got some extra Llama Bursts. They're just some extra food. Yeah, like, for me, it doesn't bother me too much because I don't really care about that extra Kinagashi. I've got my Llama Burst army, though, filling up. I've got 2 ready to go. I have a 3rd one ready to go. And then I'll double check the events to make sure I've got enough Llama Bursts coming up to get the next one. I'm pretty sure we're good, though. I'll double check. If not, I obviously have the Sacred Shards if I need for that extra stuff. I'm just going to grab all this energy right now, getting ready for Fire Night, which is starting in a little while. Oh boy, big shard pull session. Quick question as well, guys. How do you build your Candraphons? For those of you that have Candraphon, because I've seen 2 ways to build them. I've seen people build them in Swift Parry, and I've also seen people build them in Savage. What would you guys recommend? I'd be curious to hear. But guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Bye-bye.